Hi everyone, I'm 10 Tampa Bay meteorologist James Gregorio, and thanks for joining me on another edition of Weather Impact Live. We are shaping up well here today, talking about lots of sunshine, pretty picture as we make our way outside. So again, good looking stuff today, nothing to worry about. High temperature is going to climb to about 70 degrees or so. So all in all, I think we're faring really well today. So lots of sunshine outside, good looking picture as we make our way from downtown Tampa to St. Pete to TPA, Armature Works, Sarasota, all looking good. Clearwater shaping up pretty nicely as well. Let's take a closer inspection there. So as we look at Clearwater and St. Pete, Tampa, all looking good here. So again, really nice, really easy roll. So no issues or problems here. We did have that weather impact alert in place earlier. That has since come down. So again, we're looking pretty good. On the future cast, nothing to worry about. So as we make our way out and about, we're looking really good. So, as we move towards 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, all looking good here. 3 o'clock getting closer to 70 degrees. 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock, we're close to 70 with that northwestern wind at about 4 miles an hour. So the wind's dropping out, really light winds, very nice. Tons of sunshine outside, so I think we're faring quite well. And then as we get closer to game time for the big game tonight, it is a Super Sunday. If you're watching the game outdoors, you know what? No issues whatsoever. We're going to be talking about temperatures that, in fact, will start out in the 60s, ending up into the 50s as we move in towards 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, you know what? No issues whatsoever. And then Monday afternoon, there it is. Winds are southwest. So that trend in movement to the southwest, warming things up a bit. 72 degrees as we head in towards tomorrow night. Again, no issues whatsoever. Really looking pretty good here Monday night into Tuesday, even milder as well. So certainly a step in the right direction. And then Tuesday afternoon looking good. High temperatures on Tuesday will top out again into the lower 70s. So starting out here this morning, Port Richey about 62. We started out in the Nature Coast. We actually had temperatures in the upper 20s and low 30s. Look at that. Crystal River went from 28 degrees in the 7 o'clock hour. We were in the upper 20s. Now we're at 61. Brooksville at 63. So we are off to the races here this late morning. Sarasota, 65. Arcadia at about 65 as well. Satellite and radar picture showing us, you know what, we're looking good. No issues whatsoever. We do have that frontal boundary kind of lingering. But for the most part, that front not going to do a whole lot. Winds are easterly at 5 to 10. Seas are 3 to 5. There's a moderate chop on the bay. Exercise caution, though, again, still with that moderate chop. So, you may want to just be a little more prudent. If you're in a small craft, just be mindful of that. All right, rainfall. None to speak of over the next few days. Now, unfortunately, we need the rain. It's been super dry around here. As we move in towards Friday, we've got a 20% chance of rain heading our way on Friday. Still super low, so we're not going to see any of that rain, unfortunately. We need it. We've got drought conditions in place all the way from kind of northwestern Florida in the Panhandle in through portions of, pushing down into the Nature Coast, and then another pocket of drought conditions as we head a little further southward here, kind of South Bay area from Tampa, from Ruskin, let's say, a little further southward in towards Lakewood Ranch, into Sarasota, in towards, points to the south and east as you head even in towards like Sebring and Wauchula. We could be looking at extreme drought. And then there's another pocket of that sort of extreme drought down in, south even of Naples, as you almost get, towards Alligator Alley, believe it or not. So, again, just be mindful of this. Water restrictions, I think, are going to be a little more forthcoming in areas where we have extreme drought. So we're going to be talking about this a little bit more. If you can conserve and cut back now, it certainly will be helpful. We've got a lot more of the dry season to go through before we start to tick up with more extended precip heading our way. It's been and will be dry this week, and so far next week is not looking to be super moist either. So again, just be mindful. Little things can certainly help. All right, taking a look at the big board, current temperatures, and really interesting how this is laying out. So the pocket of Arctic air kind of extends in through here, into the northeastern corner of the United States. So areas like Syracuse, Cleveland's made a tremendous recovery. Cleveland was 0 a little while ago, really just 3 hours ago, and now they're 14. New York City hasn't warmed to that point even. New York City's at 10, starting out at 5. So New York City's only come up 5 degrees thus far this morning. D.C. is at 20. So that pocket of Arctic air is sort of more limited than it was, but where it's hit hard this morning, it's really kind of hit hard. And you can see just that outline of that Arctic air, right in here, kind of, from Syracuse and Western New York and Buffalo, along the I-81 corridor, the 90, and then moving a little further southward as well. Somewhat ironically, that cold core, not quite as Arctic, but, certainly not a walk in the park from Cincinnati, Chicago, up towards Madison, Wisconsin, in the lower 20s. So cold there. But, it's so like kind of diagonally banded in nature from Atlanta at 46. Atlanta and Topeka, Kansas, the same temperature. The middle of the United States has done so well this winter in many regards. I should say has been so extreme. We've had wickedly cold air that has infiltrated in the middle of the United States, but we've also had some pockets of really warm air. So at times in this pattern, you've seen sort of this omega block in the upper atmosphere. So you've seen a trough on both coasts, areas of low pressure, and then that warm air is bubbled up in the middle of the United States and given us sort of this omega block. We call it an omega block in the upper air because it looks like the Greek letter omega. So you see that, warm air kind of rifling up out of the Gulf of Mexico and just sort of, funneling into the nation's midsection. Lincoln, Nebraska is 43 degrees, whereas, it's almost this. I mean, it's the same latitude pretty much as New York City. Lincoln's at 43. New York City's at 10. So where the warm air is, and it, if you're on the right side of the fence, you're a pretty happy camper this morning. If you're not, and that's basically everything in the Northeast and portions of the upper Midwest, you're in the Arctic air. But this is kind of rock bottom. I think tomorrow morning, New York, portions of New Jersey bottom out at 6, 8, 10 degrees for the low, and then climbing up into the 20s. And then that sets the stage for warmer air, even for places like New York City and Hartford and Boston and areas like that. All right, so out to the west, still pretty mild here as well, which is definitely good news. From Portland further southward, you could see that, kind of circuitous kind of switchback, if you will, on that warm air from Casper, Wyoming to Denver. But Albuquerque's at 35, which is somewhat ironic because everything around it is much milder. So there are a couple anomalies here and there, but it's warm in the south, but it is definitely anything but zonal flow. So it's warm here. Warm air kind of bubbles up into the nation's midsection. You've got this cold pocket. You've got, a cool-ish pocket. Salt Lake City is 32 degrees warmer than New York City. Salt Lake City is 31 degrees warmer than Boston. So Boston is actually milder slightly, or I should say 1 degree less cold than Syracuse and New York. So that's really the core right there of that Arctic air, just funneling down from the Adirondacks and western New York through the Hudson Valley into New York City, clipping portions of New Jersey. So that really is the apex of that cold core and the cold Arctic air here this morning. And everywhere else is just kind of on the fringes of that a little bit. But my, oh my, it is a interesting pattern to say the least. Here in Florida, I think we're doing pretty well. Tampa's sitting at 63, Miami at about 70, Key West at about 68 degrees as well. So yeah, we've got some of the warmest air. Brownsville, Texas at 75 here this morning. So that's one of the warmer spots, no doubt. But most of Texas, Dallas, Midland, you head out to the Permian Basin, you've got temperatures for the most part hovering into the 60s. So you know what, not bad. And we're not doing too bad here in Florida either. But you don't have to go too far north when you get into the 40s and 30s and even D.C., you know, from Wilmington, North Carolina it has been a really cold winter in coastal North Carolina. Wilmington sitting at 35 degrees this morning. Been cold for them as well. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the pattern, and we're going to talk about when we're going to warm up, as well as some Super Bowl watch parties and the Florida State Fair. I'll have those details coming up. Stay with us.
This autumn, give your home the upgrade it deserves. Save up to 20% during California Closet's Autumn Upgrade event, making it easier than ever to transform your space with our select finishes. Whether it's a walk-in closet, home office, pantry, or garage, our designs are about more than organization. They're about creating space for what belongs. We call it practical magic, expert design that feels effortless. Visit one of our 3 Tampa Bay showrooms or schedule your complimentary consultation today at CaliforniaClosetsTampaBay.com.
With a fresh new look and over 60 years of keeping Floridians comfortable, Cool Today is the name to trust for fast same-day service. Cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Our friendly expert technicians take the hassle out of home repair today. And Cool Today is here for you tomorrow, too. That's why we're introducing a parts and labor warranty on select AC systems for a lifetime. For cooling, plumbing, or electrical service, get the best from today and for years to come. Cool Today.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. You need quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
I was driving when a Ford pickup truck barreled into me from behind, sending me to the hospital.
I knew my husband was going to need an excellent attorney, so I called Dan Newland.
I'm so glad my wife called Dan. Dan really fought for me. He won my case and got me $650,000.
If you've been involved in a car accident, allow me to fight for you. Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Thanks, Dan, for winning my husband's case.
All right, everyone, welcome back here. So again, we're talking about temperatures across the United States. It's been really cold. It's really cold in the nation's midsection, even up in the Dakotas as well. In fact, in Fargo, North Dakota, a lost dog survived 20 days in below freezing temperatures. The whole community came together to find him using surveillance video and traps. A reporter from our affiliate station up there has the story. Take a look.
Hello.
Here he is, the survivor. Peanut, the wonder dog.
Oh my gosh, she is so tiny.
Who today met some of those responsible for the rescue.
Everybody was looking for you, bud.
Peanut escaped his Fargo yard on January 8th. And for the next 20 days,
we were just not hopeful that he was going to survive those conditions. And then to see him on camera in the midst of all that storm going on was just, I mean, I can't even explain the feelings.
The little Chihuahua Pomeranian was running solo.
The wind chills never hit above 0.
In unimaginable winter temperatures.
The last weekend before we found him, we were seeing 50 to 60 degrees below 0 with the wind chill.
Missing signs with a photo of a Peanut were everywhere around town.
I think in those 8 days that we had no sightings, I had become pretty discouraged. I was not hopeful that we were going to find him.
The Minnesota-based nonprofit, The Retrievers, relying on tips from local businesses in an industrial area in Fargo, put out traps for several days.
You know, we tell people dogs are so resilient. They can survive anything. I mean, he's proof of it.
And finally, 20 days after disappearing, Peanut got trapped.
So happy to have you home. Got new friends. Everybody was worried about you.
Area businesses like Gabriel Metal Casting help look for Peanut, and they swear that he had a little help from his friends, furry friends.
There was 20 bunnies out in the lot where he was running when we were getting him, and he was warm. He found warmth. There was always a bunny next to him whenever we would see him.
And you would think being out for 20 days in sub-zero temperatures would have a drastic impact on Peanut. But he's the wonder dog.
They said, I mean, other than being thin, no frostbite, heart was good, lungs were good.
A happy ending for all who care about Peanut.
Are you smiling? You're happy with all your friends?
Many thought the worst, But in the end, this little bundle fooled them all.
It's a miracle.
Yes.
Right?
He means so much to my family.
With his perseverance, survival skills,
It's literally miraculous. I just don't know how he managed to survive, but.
and now he's living his best life.
And sure as heck, we got him home.
Feels good.
It feels wonderful. Feels wonderful.
Minus 50? That's unbelievable. So great to see him returned and happy and healthy and no frostbite. Heart's good. All that is good as well. All right, so we've had drought conditions here. We're in the dry season, and unfortunately, our extreme drought, that area you see shaded in red, has gotten worse, has expanded here. And in fact, 2 weeks ago, there was a massive brush fire here in Highlands County. We have video of the fire from Sky 10, and homes were briefly evacuated. It burned 178 acres. Every single one of our counties are under burn bans currently. So please be super careful. I was riding my mountain bike last week, Alafaya State Park, and that's very close to the Hillsborough County training facility, the sheriff's training facility. They were doing some, I believe, like explosive testing work, detonations. I heard the booms. It wasn't that long after that I saw some smoke. And again, I think we just reported on it today that some of that fire has reignited. So everybody needs to be super careful, super smart. Do not throw cigarettes at a car window. Be careful, really careful with any exposed flames, because I think we're heading towards some water restrictions, and we're already running low on water. So if we don't need to put out brush fires or any other fires that may start, let's not put ourselves in that position. So we just need to be smart, shall we say. All right, so let's come back to the maps. Here's the deal. Pattern change. Yeah, I think we're talking about it. So there's that cold Arctic air still very much so in place as we make our way in towards, you see that cold air, kind of the Arctic air sort of spilling southward. That ridge in the nation's midsection is still here. So, that warm air still riding up under that ridge. But the real frigid Arctic air staying suppressed to the north. And we have these sort of ripples, if you will, in the pattern. And you could see, but what's nice is as we head into next week, look who gets into the act with some of that warmer air, the upper Midwest and in towards portions of PA, not so much the New York City metro yet. And they're going to try dangling that carrot, if you will, that warm air carrot. But Mom Nature is saying, oh, no, let me just get you with a little reinforcing shot of some colder air, not as Arctic as it was. You get that little kind of stretch polar vortex that tries to move down a little bit. And then as we move in towards next weekend, things start to moderate for the folks in the Northeast. That warm air still does the trick, still does its thing here, kind of like that. The warm air still to the south. And then look at that really kind of bubble up. President's Day, big weekend. Daytona 500 going on that weekend. That President's Day is Monday. So before that, Daytona 500. We got the Gasparilla Parade, I think they call it, night parade, Gasparilla Night Parade going on here in Tampa. We've got some bunch of other stuff going on too. So anyway, my tour guide, Julie McCoy memory is starting to fade there just a little bit on the event side of things. But a lot going on, shall we say. All right, back to the weather, and look at that. Look at that warm air. So places like Fargo, North Dakota, Pierre, South Dakota, Lincoln, Nebraska, you got all that warm air filling in there. But watch what happens from President's Day. That ridge starts to move eastward. So hello, my friends. We're going to slide that warm air a little bit further eastward there in towards Ohio, in towards Indiana, and it continues moving eastward, which is good news. So for the ice and the frozen rivers and Great Lakes, that's all going to get a little thaw as it moves eastward as well. All right, so Florida State Fair, we're going to talk about this just a little. If you're heading out this weekend, this is the first weekend, although it started a couple days ago, last week. This is the first weekend of the fair. Great looking stuff. Temperatures in the lower 70s for highs. tons of sunshine. So don't forget the shade. You're absolutely going to need those. And the winds are light and calm. So 72 is actually going to feel like 72, which is pretty awesome. All right, we're going to take another quick short break. When we come back, we're going to wrap things up, talk about our forecast going forward when we might see above normal high temperatures. I'll have those details on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
This autumn, give your home the upgrade it deserves. Save up to 20% during California Closet's Autumn Upgrade event, making it easier than ever to transform your space with our select finishes. Whether it's a walk-in closet, home office, pantry, or garage, our designs are about more than organization. They're about creating space for what belongs. We call it practical magic, expert design that feels effortless. Visit one of our 3 Tampa Bay showrooms or schedule your complimentary consultation today at CaliforniaClosetsTampaBay.com.
I was driving when an 18-wheeler turned in front of me. I locked up my brakes, bam, slid dead into the truck. Bloody and hurt, I was loaded into an ambulance, and that's when I put out my phone and called attorney Dan Newton. Dan jumped right on it. He was in my corner the whole way. He fought the fight from beginning to end and got me $1 million.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Dan, your awesome team deserves 6 stars. Thank you for winning my case.
With a fresh new look and over 60 years of keeping Floridians comfortable, Cool Today is the name to trust for fast same-day service. Cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Our friendly expert technicians take the hassle out of home repair today. And Cool Today is here for you tomorrow, too. That's why we're introducing a parts and labor warranty on select AC systems for a lifetime. For cooling, plumbing, or electrical service, get the best from today and for years to come. Cool Today.
Jeopardy is for everybody.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah.
With players just like you.
Paramedic, a retired teacher, psychiatrist.
I'm a little bit competitive.
That's the spirit.
Watch their victories.
We have a giant killer.
And heartbreaks.
Oh, no.
The next super champion could be anyone.
It's almost like a superhero origin story.
It could be you.
Oh, wow.
It's all happening on Jeopardy!
Jeopardy weeknights at 7:30, right here on 10 Tampa Bay.
All right, everyone, welcome back. We're talking about our upper air pattern once again. So, as we head in towards later next week, after Monday and into Tuesday, that ridge we've been talking about, that ridge of high pressure, in the upper air, allowing the warm air just to seep up out of the Gulf nation's midsection over the Mississippi River region. This is Tuesday, the 17th. On Wednesday, the 18th, that warm air starts to slide eastward. So there it is, kind of pushing in towards Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina as well. So nice little break from the Arctic conditions. All right, Super Bowl watch party. If you're heading out for the game, it looks great at 5 o'clock, 71 degrees. At 7 o'clock, we're at 63. 9 o'clock, temperatures in the upper 50s, so game's still going on, obviously. And then by about 11 o'clock, we're in the mid-50s, shaping up nicely. So, a little cool if you're heading out. Let's roll through that future cast again as we roll through the afternoon hours. And, great stuff. 70 degrees. If you want to just sit by the pool, especially if it's unheated, tons of sunshine, you can absolutely do that. And then as we move in towards 3, 4 o'clock, you know what? Still looks great. We're still holding on to near 69, 67, 68 degrees. And then as we move in towards tonight, those temperatures dipping down into the 50s. So all in all, looking great. And then as we head in towards tomorrow morning, still looks good. So a little bit milder overnight. So we're not going to have no weather impact alert in place for tomorrow morning. We're not going to have as colder temperatures. And as we head in towards tomorrow afternoon, we're closer to 70, 72 degrees. A little bit milder, I think, maybe a degree or so than where we are today. Winds are still on the lighter side. What a great stretch of weather. If it's not going to rain, we might as well get the warm air and the gorgeous conditions and the sunny skies. And that's exactly what we're going to have here over the next few days. Overnight lows only dipping down to about 50, so that's much more comfortable as well. So no chill in the morning, maybe a little chill. Might want to throw on something light, but it won't last long. So if you're not outside for any extended period of time early tomorrow morning, I think you're good. I think you're solid. So, all right, let's run through the forecast here for today. High temperatures climbing at right around 70 degrees. We had that early chill. It is a Super Sunday for the Super Bowl. Obviously, it's not in Tampa, but if you are at a watch party or if you are going to be outside, absolutely a go to do that. The winds are light, so that makes a huge difference. So you may want to grab just a sweatshirt with you. The start of the game, we'll see those temperatures in the 60s. And then by the end of the game, we'll be back in the mid-50s, I think. So that's when you really want that sweatshirt. As we move in towards tonight, overnight lows, upper 40s. Much more comfortable as we head in towards tomorrow morning. We're not in the mid or upper 30s. We're in the upper 40s. Those winds are northerly at about 5 to 10. So again, shaping up nicely. As we move in towards tomorrow, a smidgen warmer tomorrow, maybe a degree, maybe 2. 72 degrees, an early chill, but like today, you know, that early February sunshine's got a little kick to it. So we're going to, you know, kind of get the party started warming up pretty quickly. So 6, 7 a.m., yeah, you're going to feel the chill, but, you know, we're going to turn on the afterburners and boom, Maverick's going to be supersonic before you know it, and temperatures in the low 70s. So little Top Gun reference for you. All right, so as we move into the 7-day forecast, you know, we head into Monday, 72 going to do it tomorrow, as we spoke about. Tuesday, look for a high of about 74. And then by Wednesday and Thursday, those high temperatures are going to climb into the mid-70s. Keep in mind, normal high temperature for this time of year, about 73.